So let's talk about the luxury shopping experience in Paris. It's very chaotic, to say the least. Every store, particularly Louis Vuitton and Chanel, of course, all the major ones, so Dior as well. Hermes, I have passed a couple Hermes, and surprisingly there weren't any lines there. I came to France last September, same time, and there was a line at Hermes when I passed by, but there were no lines anywhere else. So somewhere between then and now, something's changed. I suppose it's one, the fact that the euro is equal to the dollar, and two, COVID is kind of dying down to some degree, so everyone's has pent up shopping demands or something. Like, I'm not sure, but either way, it's not pleasant. So it takes at least an hour. I think the least I've waited was around 30 minutes to an hour in every line to get into every store, including the standalone shops and department stores. So that's not fun. I mean, the attendants or the people that work at the store have been good about it, like particularly at Louis Vuitton. It was raining outside and they brought us like umbrellas and water, so that was really nice. So they're good in that aspect. Sometimes when you get into the store, when it's your turn, all the assistants are busy with other people, so you're like standing around and waiting yet again for someone's to come and help you. So that's another thing. I would say most of the people in the store appear to be American. Yeah, I can't say that I've seen any actual people from France there in the stores, so it's an interesting crowd, mostly younger people, and then of course a few older, clearly affluent people. So it's been interesting, to say the least. There's like a lot of low-key judgment from some of the customers. Like I guess the clientele that like shops at these stores are, I don't know, somewhat pretentious to a certain degree. So it's just interesting, the dynamics of the people in the store and the attention that you get when you're in there. So there's that. The sales associates themselves have been decent. Like they're all pleasant, considering that it's a zoo in like each of these stores. So that's been good at least. So I probably already hinted that I got a couple pieces from Chanel, and I did get one piece from Louis Vuitton. So I'll tell you guys what I wanted. So Louis Vuitton, I wanted the pochette or the multi-pochette bag. So it's 2 bags together and then a pouch. I wasn't interested in wearing the bags together. I wanted them individually because I just feel like it's very functional and it would be a good introduction to Louis Vuitton bags. I don't really like their other bags, so that's all I wanted. Needless to say, there are no multi-pochettes in all of France. Before I left to come to America, it was on the Louis Vuitton website for the US, but I'm not trying to pay the taxes on it, and it's considerably more expensive in America, like literally $1,000 more. So I won't be getting the bag unless I can get it in Europe with the VAT refund. In terms of the single pochettes, like the mini pochette or the pochette accessoire, there aren't any in Paris, and the lady told me that there was one accessoire in Marseille, which is in the south of France. So yes, stock is very, very limited in that regard. They do have the multi-pochette in the, is it called empreinte leather? Just the leather variety. There are plenty of those around, but I don't particularly like them. And they look, they're all in like black or like black and cream. And I, as you will see, just bought a Chanel bag that's black. So I'm good to go on that. Now, let's segue on to Chanel. So I wanted a Chanel wallet on chain with gold hardware. So I went to several Chanel stores, and I mentioned before they didn't have any bags, or they say we don't have any bags, we only have what's available on the shelves in the store, because apparently they seem to deplete their stock up until launch day. So it's going to be launching the collection September 13th, so that is 2 days away from today. So basically none of the Chanels have barely any stock of anything. At least that's what they say. I feel like they kind of pick and choose who they're gonna sell to, and I'll tell you why. So I went to a few Chanel stores in the major ones. So Rue Cambon, which I don't recommend going to the major ones because everyone does, and therefore they have no stock. And then I finally was able to get a bag at the Bon Marché department store, the Chanel counter. So I went in there, asked for a wallet on chain, which they did have. It was black, but it had silver hardware, and I was not interested really in the silver hardware, although I would have taken it anyway, because it's a little low-key pared down with the silver, so it looks like, you know, decent for wearing around every day to run errands or whatever. So I was thinking about getting that, and then because I was like displeased with the fact that it wasn't gold hardware, the sales associate like suggested, she was like, well, are you interested in any flat bags? And I was like, maybe, you know, like I know like flat bags are hard to get in general, and I did not come with the intent of getting any flat bags for that reason. Additionally, like I didn't get the hype over flat bags. I'm like, well, you know, the classic five that everyone's like, get a classic five. I'm like, what's the big deal? Like, they look nice, but like I was not willing to spend like $9,000, $10,000 on them. So yeah. Anyway, she told me that here's what happened. She told me, oh, why don't you go to the dressing room and I'll grab some bags for you. Because prior to this, I was in, you know, the front of the store. And then she comes back with 2 flat bags, like just magically out of nowhere, after every store that I had been to prior was saying, we don't have any flat bags. So, but magically, the Bon Marché had 2 flat bags. It was a small flap in caviar with gold hardware, and then a medium flap. So anyway, I tried them both on. They're gorgeous, like in real life, like much. So I understand the hype. No, I didn't like the medium flat bag because it's very rectangular and I didn't like how that looked, but I decided on getting the small flat bag, which I'm sure I have already inserted clips by at this point in time. So yeah, I'm really happy with that purchase. It's an absolutely gorgeous bag, and I feel like it suits me better, just the proportions. The medium flat bag to me looks a little bit more mature. I know it's like bigger, but I don't need a big bag. So anyway, so I ended up getting that. Then today I went to another smaller Chanel boutique because I had read some reviews online, and this person said they were able to get a flat bag there even though they weren't able to get it at other stores, which I already had the flat bag by this time, so I wasn't really there for that. I just assumed they would have more stock because it was low-key, so it did. In fact, they were showing someone, they were like, I don't know, are they jumbo flat bags? It was on the larger to the jumbo size, so that person was interested, and I wouldn't be either. Like, that bag is huge, but they did have a couple of those, and I went in there looking for the wallet on chain still because I was destined to find something more low-key to wear on a normal basis, because that's my new thing. I'm like, if I'm not using it on a day-to-day basis, it's like basically pointless for me to have it. So anyway, went in, asked for the wallet on chain. She's like, oh, we don't have any, and the only one that we have is in the Bon Marché store that I already been to. And I told her, you know, like, I already saw that one and I didn't want it. So then instead of like suggesting other things that you might like, they're just kind of like, oh, we don't have it, like that's that. So you have to like push to see other things. So then I said, well, do you have any smaller bags, small to medium bags, that I can take a look at? And then she brought out a couple bags that were not on the shelf. So they do have bags that are not on the shelf, even though they like claim like that's all they have. So anyway, that's when I ended up getting the caramel bag that you saw, which is actually really nice. And that is also in caviar, so it's more durable. And then the edges have the chain on it, which is nice for like, you know, it's not gonna wear down with regular use. But then, however, this is what makes me think that they pick and choose, is because when I was browsing around after she was getting my bag ready, I noticed that this girl, also American, that was behind me, she was upstairs and she had a bag out that looked, I'm pretty sure it was a wallet on chain, literally what I had just asked for previously. And like I said, she was in line behind me, but she somehow had gotten the wallet and chain. So I don't know what that is about. Like, she told me that they didn't have any, and then like 10 minutes later, I see someone with it. So, you know, it's a hit or miss here in terms of how they go about things. I suppose I didn't notice the girl behind me. She might have like immediately been assisted by another SA, and that SA might have gotten that bag before my SA had went back to get it. But I'm just not really convinced that that's what happened. So anyway, the wallet and chain that she had was the same color as the bag that I got. However, I'm pretty sure it had silver hardware, so it wasn't really like checking all the boxes for me anyway. Whereas this bag, it does have the gold hardware and I love the color. The chain, however, isn't as versatile as the wallet and chain, so you can't like wear it multiple ways. You can wear it the ways that I showed it in the video, but the chain doesn't move around. So that's one drop bag. Well, other than that, I'm happy with the purchase. So I did a lot of damage in terms of spending, so yeah, I think I'm good to go on after this trip. Like there won't be any more luxury bag purchases unless I somehow like come into a ton of money, because I just need to you know, save and whatever, and it starts to become excessive after a while. Like, I feel like I do have like issues with shopping historically, so I don't want to get into like having a collection of luxury bags, or like I've seen some of these YouTubers with like, I don't know, you know, tens on maybe even up to 100 like luxury bags, just like a ton of luxury bags, and that is like not gonna be me. Like, my wealth is not going to be tied up in handbags. That's just not a thing for me. So yeah, that has been my experience so far shopping for luxury in Paris. I don't recommend it, honestly, unless you're going to come right around the time that the collection is launching. And then I'm sure it's still going to be chaotic, but you might have a better chance of getting things that you want. You're better off, honestly, just staying in America and buying it there and paying the tax, because I have not seen any lines in America like going on the luxury store doors. So yeah, I think that's all that I wanted to say. If you guys have questions about anything that you've seen so far, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in a few at the spa.
I wanna walk like Tyra. I wanna look like Linda Evangelista. I wanna be Madonna. Get you on your knees like a preacher. I wanna be iconic. You've never seen anything quite like me. I wanna be iconic. I wanna be iconic. I wanna be. We're serving fish for lunch today. Spilling tea on Broadway. She's getting Princess Di in her freakum dress. She is khaki boots, passing in pinstripe suits. They are so passe. Wish they were snatched like me. My life is a runway, perfect plastic on display. I wanna walk like Tyra. I wanna look like Linda Evangelista. I wanna be Madonna. Get you on your knees like a preacher. I wanna be iconic.